Happy Wednesday, everybody. You may have read in your bulletin last week about an opportunity that's being offered by the Peacemaking Committee, encouraging everyone to write to their elected officials about the situation in Gaza and for Palestinians, also in the West Bank, urging them to take action in support of those people. I want to invite Margie from the Peacemaking Committee to share a little bit more about why this work is so important and what the Peacemaking Committee is hoping will come out of this effort.
Listening to Allison's story of Martha and Mary on the Beacon Light last week, it was a touching reminder for me that the first time that I visited Palestine and Israel in 2001, I began in the West Bank, in the very village of Bethany, the hometown of the sisters Mary and Martha and their brother Lazarus. That made Jesus' life so real, as did meeting the Palestinians who now live where Jesus had visited and ministered. It was reading the small book, Blood Brothers, by Elias Shakur, that made me want to visit that part of the world. That had been given to me by Carol Williams, who was an elder and one of my mentors here at Market Square for years. She was also active in the Peacemaking. She helped initiate the Peacemaking Committee. After reading the book, I wanted so much to meet both Palestinians as well as Israelis. And having read the experience of the Shakur family in 1948, when they were forced out of their small Palestinian village by young Israeli soldiers to make way for the new nation of Israel. Elias's father, who was born into a long line of Palestinian Christians who'd been believers for years, was frightened about what was happening, but he also knew the horrors of the Holocaust. And he said to Elias and his brothers and sisters, "The Jews are our brothers and sisters, and we will love them." And he did. The rest of his life, he worked on being the bridge between Israelis and Palestinians. And he also became the Archbishop of the Melkite Catholic Church in Palestine. It was on that first trip in 2001 that our small group met with Elias Shakur, who by then was a leader and was soon to become the Archbishop. I also met on that visit the Mekbel family, a Muslim family in the West Bank who have become an extension of my family here. For them, I've learned many things, but also how important Jesus is to the Muslims, as is his mother Mary, who is Miriam in the Quran, and there's a whole chapter dedicated to her. I've learned, too, that Christians, Jews, and Muslims have at our base the love of God and our neighbor. What we call the conflict between Palestinians and Israelis, and the Palestinians have long been calling the catastrophe, has become personal and heartbreaking to me because I have Jews in my immediate family and because I have these very special connections with Palestinians. My Jewish family, they are as heartsick as I am about what is happening in Gaza. It is so painful and to watch and to listen to the news of the bombings in Gaza, in which the children, women, and men are killed every day. And it's been made very clear to me, and I'm reminded regularly, that those bombs come from the United States. It stunned me to learn just yesterday that it's at least 18,000 children who have been the victims of those bombs. And they are innocent children. I continue to ask myself, how can I live with that? And how can we, as people for whom Palestinians are brothers and sisters in Christ, how can we do that? There's not a day that goes by that I don't think of those Palestinian parents still alive and try to imagine how they care for their children in Gaza, where there is no food, little food. Their homes are gone, their schools are gone, their whole communities are gone. And there are thousands of children who've been orphaned by this war that rages on day after day. I feel so hopeless, and my guess is that many of you do as well. It was a relief to receive that message recently from an interfaith group of Palestinians and Israelis and Americans who are strongly encouraging our faith communities like Market Square Church to organize letter writing campaigns to our elected officials. The plan is clearly to flood our U.S. senators and congressional mailboxes, urging an immediate ceasefire, as well as the desperately needed humanitarian aid for the people of Gaza. Our voices are so important, and I'm so grateful that our staff and the Peacemaking Committee have actively organized this campaign of letter writing. We ask that you join us to write these letters to our senators and representatives in Congress. It is our prayerful response to this urgent need of our sisters and brothers who live in the land in which Jesus grew up, was, ministered, and was killed. Thank you, and we urge you to join us.